Here I'm going to demo a simple web search interface over the 12.1 million documents in the xDD corpus using the UW Cosmos AI Technical Assistant. This is a pretty targeted web application designed to really focus on retrieval of drug and genes and mentions in the full text of scientific publications. But it illustrates a general capacity to build such interfaces for any domain target. In this case, we're interested in COVID-19 research and animal models. And so I'm going to enter two common animal models in COVID-19 related work. I'm going to require that these two terms co-occur initially, and we're going to limit our search to the latest and greatest from 2020 so far. And the first thing we're going to get in doing this search over UW Cosmos and xDD are a couple of high-level results that can be useful in refining our query, discovering quickly related concepts and information in documents related to our query, and so on. So our two search terms, ferret and monkey, the first thing that's shown are simply the correlated terms from a word embedding model trained over the full text of COVID-19 related documents. And this can be useful for some data discovery and formulating different types of queries for your search. So that's the first result we see here. And as always, we were able to get the full result set in JSON, which can be incorporated into user applications directly. Below this high-level summary of terms related to our original search terms and just the cosine angle of the vectors that define similarity in this case, we are presented with document-level views of our search terms in two important ways. The first way is we see individual snippets from the full text of the document that satisfy our search criteria, which allows for us to quickly evaluate the context in which our terms in this document were occurring. As always, we can get the full JSON object for all such instances in the document with this JSON link. The other thing we're presented with is genes, and in some cases, genes and drugs, when those genes and drugs also occur anywhere within the full text of our retrieved documents. And so by simply scrolling down here, we're presented with a very targeted list of gene and drugs that also occur in documents discussing monkeys and ferrets. And this is a pretty useful starting point for trying to explore interactions. Going document by document is somewhat helpful, and we can quickly learn more about the context of these mentions in the document, again by going to the full text snippets that extract every single mention of those genes, both of them, from within the full text of the document. But we can also generate a few high-level summaries that can be useful for making sense of this information quickly. The first of these is to simply count up drugs and genes and the number of documents that they occur in over our searched and retrieved set here. And this is that summary. This is the number of times drugs and genes occur within this corpus. It's a relatively small one. I'm actually going to go ahead and release this constraint for both monkey and ferret to co-occur. And we'll get a larger set of documents here because there will be ferret and or monkey in any of the document. And now we have 232 published this year. Same thing, we can get a quick summary of the number of documents in this set that mention drugs and genes independently. Perhaps more usefully, we can actually see the intersection of drugs and genes within documents, co-occurrences of drugs and genes within documents that satisfy our criteria. This matrix can take a little bit to generate. This is running on our live server, which requires it to do a pretty big live query into the corpus. So it'll just take a second to generate this result. And there we go. And so this is the co-occurrence matrix, the number of documents in which this gene and this drug co-occur, along with our original search strings, ferret and or monkey, published so far this year. We can go one step further here and explore throughout the entire corpus the intersection of gene-drug combinations that have been identified as occurring at the document level by our initial search for ferret or monkey anytime this year. And that's what these links here do. So let's go explore ACE2, remdesivir, co-mentions anywhere in the xDD corpus. We find 123 documents that contain both of these terms, and this response to our xDD API is exposing the mentions of these two objects, these two strings, remdesivir and ACE2, anywhere in the full text. And this could be useful in the next step of assessing the nature of the relationship between ACE2 and remdesivir, if any, in these documents, or visualizing it in another user interface layer, and so on. And we can restrict this arbitrarily too to include only one of our search terms. So if we add, for example, ferret to our search string, there are 3 documents in which this gene, this drug, and ferrets are co-mentioned. So this is an overview of a very quickly written custom web application built on xDD and UW-Cosmos API components that allow us to build out a very powerful search interface for rapidly zeroing in on gene-drug co-occurrences in COVID-19 related work.